that we need to continue to stand strong to defend everybody's rights and freedoms.
Hey guys, how you doing today? Whew, what a nice little stone Canadian flag. Thank you for your service and your sacrifice so that I could live in the best country in the world. But we are under our freedoms that you fought for and such, and are constantly being oppressed these days in this beautiful nation. All these names underfoot. It almost feels disrespectful to walk along here, but I understand this is it's actually really interesting. I'm not sure if advertisements should be placed in here. I find that a little much. But anyway, I want to have a conversation with you guys. And let's get the numbers out of the way before I get into this whole conversation. Okay. Canada is part of an alliance, and they're required, NATO, and they're required to pay 2% of their GDP in military spending per year. Okay. And we hear this all the time. We hear, oh, well, Canada's paying 1.29% of their GDP. And we're aspiring to the 2% roll. Okay, well, let's hear actual numbers here. Okay. Our GDP is $2.047 trillion a year. Now you say to yourself, well, that's a huge number. Oh my goodness, our budget. But our budget, what 2% of that would equal, is $41 billion. And currently, we are spending a total of $26 billion on our military. $26 billion. But 2% is only $41 billion. Hey, you know the budget that was just released? You know, the one that Trudeau is going to use to pay for everything this year? That's a $40 billion deficit. But he's going to use that for propaganda and just stupid spending, you know, spending on drag shows and just foolishness. Okay? But you say we can't reach the 2%. Matter of fact, you even told NATO, even though our allies are constantly badgering Canada about this, that you can't make, and Canada will never make, the 2% that they require of us. But this isn't about money, this conversation. I want to talk to you about something else, something a lot more important than just the money. The money is why we have the problems we have with what I'm about to say. Once again, I thank you for your service. $8 billion. $8 billion. $5 billion last year. 2.4 more billion allocated in the budget, the 2023 budget for Ukraine. Military equipment shipped to Ukraine, including tanks. $8 billion. That's one third of what we spend on our military budget. $8 billion would get us up to $34 billion of the $41 billion. And our military could still help Ukraine. It could actually help Ukraine even more than it does now. But you see, there's a problem. And there's a reason why you say that Canada will never meet their 2% commitment. You see, back in Harper days, we decided to start making procurements. Harper set up a bunch of procurements, set up shipbuilding, decided to take part in the production of the most advanced aircrafts in the world and become a partner in that. Then you came into office. One of the first things you did was you decided, nope, we're not going to be a partner in the most advanced aircrafts in Canada. Nope, we're going to open it up and we're going to decide that we're going to put it to the bids. And how many years later, okay, what is it, 4, 5 years now later, you've decided, you know what, I think we will get those F-35s, but we're no longer partners in that program. And while the partners are actually using those aircraft in their service, Canada's still using the outdated and retired. This is not it, but the F-18s. We're still using our old beat up planes and trying to extend their lives more and more. Then you gave away our tanks. And you said, don't worry, we'll buy the most advanced tanks the world has seen to replace our aging Leopard 2s. Well, Leopard 2 is not that old, but okay, you know, they get abused and that's what happens. And that's fine. You know, all this procurement, buying new equipment, and, you know, we're sending over our howitzer launch systems. Okay. So all these things are getting updated. Brought into the modern era. But the problem is, you've reduced the staff in the procurement office to the point that they can't procure anything. So even buying equipment for our troops, you may allocate the money, but you never spend it because there's nobody there to procure. You shut down one of the docks that were creating the new Navy for Canada so that you could transfer that contract to a different dock, delaying the process even more. We were supposed to have our warships in 2023. Now they're talking 2028, somewhere in that ballpark. I can't remember the exact date now. But you seem to have found $8 billion to fund a foreign war. And then you're giving our equipment away so that our troops are under-equipped. And you're not procuring new equipment so our troops are ready. Now, I mentioned it before that our allies have asked Canada for assistance in a number of ways, and they're actually getting very frustrated with us. And especially when you turn around and you tell them, oh, we will never meet our 2%. It's kind of why you see United States, Australia, and Great Britain forming a strategic alliance and dropping Canada out of the mix. Latvia begs Canada for more assistance. And Canada says, well, we got no one to help you with that. Even though you'll find the $8 billion to send to Ukraine, which is right next door, for the same issues. Then you have the US begging Canada to help them support the installed leader in Haiti. And Canada says, we don't have the resources to perform this mission. But we found the resources in 2001 to take the role, the lead role. Actually, I think it was in 2002 we took the lead role, but we found the resources to take the lead role in Afghanistan. We find the resources to do the peacekeeping missions around the world until you came into power. Now you've taken our military and you decided that it's nothing but a bunch of sexist, racist people, and you tell them they're so. And there's nothing but sexism within the military. And you're going to fix that by allow them to wear purple hair, identify as whatever they want, remove punishment from basic training, change the uniform to be non-gender specific. Uniform is not gender specific. The uniform is functional. It serves a purpose, you see, because if you wear a dress on the field, it's harder to maneuver. You wear pants, so this way you don't scrape your legs. Your legs have free movement. You wear a jacket with many pockets, so you can carry your supplies. But that's irrelevant. That's man's wear. And we can't have that in the Canadian military, apparently. You insult our military. You strip of its resources. You have the generals telling you that should Canada have an emergency and require the military service, that we don't have the resources to actually do anything. The Navy is so short-staffed that this is what they told you not all that long ago. And again, your procurement is not happening to get new ships that are already on order. You've destroyed the Canadian military. And now you insult constantly the Russian nation, a superpower of the world. You insult them on a regular basis, to the point that they're calling in our diplomats to justify and explain their actions. Now we have Russia telling its citizens to avoid coming to Canada because it's a toxic, hostile environment. This is one of the preludes to an invasion, is to tell your citizens not to go there. Not that I'm saying that Russia's going to invade Canada, but it is one of the hallmarks. You irritate them, you poke it, you're poking the bear, and now the bear is beginning to wake up. You might want to think this one through. But the biggest insult to our military and to the Canadian citizens is what just happened over the weekend. You see, before the weekend, Minister Jolie announced that they could not do anything for our Canadian ambassadors in Sudan. And then the US and Great Britain mobilized, while the US and Great Britain mobilized their military forces to extract their personnel. And Canada turned to the US and said, please, oh please, oh please, can you save our diplomats? And the US capitulated yet again. But for all the Canadian citizens in Sudan, don't worry, this government won't do anything for you, even if our military wants to. Because if you remember, Trudeau told our veterans when they asked to be respected for what they've done for this country, that they ask for too much. And then Veterans Affairs offers our veterans assistance in dying instead of a wheelchair ramp. Are you beginning to understand why nobody wants to sign up and be a part of the Canadian military? Welcome to the Fringe.
I'm with you.